On July 20th, 2025, Mars is meeting the South Node in the sign of Virgo. Virgo is all about service and perfectionism, and Mars, being cutting, severing, courage, and action, is asking us to release South Node, the karmic patterns that have kept us in this state of constant burnout, doing all of these things to try to prove our worth and not believing that we really belong simply as we are. This is the North Node in Pisces, and what it's trying to show us, that it's about our essence and not what we do to prove our worth. But Virgo has a hard time believing this. So today we're going to go through the astrology of it, and we're going to talk a little bit about the gene key that this is happening in, because I believe that's going to give us a different perspective on what the energies are asking for right now, and to show us how we can actually move through these cleansing and releasing rituals that will allow us to harness the best aspects of Virgo, right? When we're moving through South Node, North Node transits, it's not about abandoning the South Node and going towards the North Node. It's about finding the balance, taking the best from both. And how it often shows up with the South Node is that there are toxic, past, unconscious, or karmic patterns that we are continuing to do, although we know better, we are not doing better. So today, I want to be of service to that. And I actually decided to do something a little bit Mars and Virgo-like, which is to create tangible rituals for every single sign, sun, moon, and rising, that you guys can do to harness and to really transmute and transform these past behaviors into something new, because Mars wants you to take action. So I'm just gonna maybe give you like a little hand and a little push, a little nudge towards taking the action that Mars wants you to take. But before we do that, I wanna go through the astrology and the gene key. Now, if you guys are new here, my name is Jazz. I help people do things like this. I help you guys find unconscious blocks that are in your chart and find ways to alchemize them, find ways to transmute them. Let's talk about Mars. Mars is a planet of action. It's a planet of war collectively, yes, but when we're talking about it in our personal lives, in our psychological lives, it's about conflict possibly, but it's action, it's courage, it's independence. Sometimes it can be inflammatory, and yes, it can even be aggressive at times or bring anger. But Mars also has a cutting aspect to it, or a severing aspect to it. When we look at the South Node collectively, when we're having a transit, is showing us what aspects of that sign need to be released that have become toxic patterns in our lives, that have become ingrained, but they're not healthy. So it's not about abandoning whatever the sign the South Node is in, but rather releasing the negative aspects of that sign and harnessing the more positive aspects. So the sign is Virgo, right? And if I were to sum up Virgo in two archetypes, now I think every sign has multiple archetypes within it, but if I had to choose two archetypes for Virgo, I would choose the perfectionist and the servant. This axis of Virgo Pisces, to me, is very service oriented, but they're very different types of services. Pisces service is holding space. It's saying, I'm going to sit here with you as you move through this process. I'm going to give you compassion. I'm going to give you unconditional love as you move through this. Virgo, being mutable earth rather than mutable water like Pisces, it's about tangible service. It's less about the holding space and more, what can I do to make your life easier? How can I help you in this moment? What can I do for you? So if we think about these two archetypes, the perfectionist and the servant, let's go through them one by one. Okay, so this is really important to understand, what are we trying to release during this time, right? If we go through with the servant, actually, let's start with the perfectionist. Okay, if we think about perfectionists, we often hear this about Virgos, right? That they're very detail oriented, they're very analytical, they're perfectionists, and they have very high expectations of themselves and other people, and they can become critical and judgmental of people who don't they don't feel are meeting those expectations, including themselves. I believe that the root of Virgo's perfectionism is not so much that they are critical people. I believe that in their minds, there is an ideal, and they know that this ideal is attainable for themselves and others. And it brings this pressure to constantly grow, to constantly be working towards that ideal, and wanting to have other people join that so that everybody can work towards being better, right? There's a lot of self-growth. There's a lot of like self-help books in the Virgo world because they want to be better. They want to have this ideal realized. And they believe whatever this ideal is to them, they believe that if they're able to attain that and other people are attaining that the world would be better, that everything would be smoother, things would make more sense, things would be more orderly. And this is where we draw in, as I always say, that we don't have 12 signs, we have 6 pairs, right? Because we're meant to draw upon the opposites all the time in healthy ways. Pisces reminds us that there is no such thing as perfect, and life is not meant to be orderly and linear. Life is a little crazy. It's a little chaotic, right? Virgo does not do well with the chaos, right? And so this is kind of where the North Node in Pisces is asking us to surrender. How do we surrender? We're going to talk about that more when we talk about the gene keys. The second archetype I want to talk about with Virgos is the servant. I mentioned how Virgos want to be of service. They want to be of tangible service to other people. The number one thing I see with Virgos is that in the service, they sacrifice themselves, and then they wind up bitter and resentful, feeling like they've been such a great person, but everybody lets them down. Nobody can match their ideals. Nobody can give to them the way they give to others. And it's easy to say we can draw from that North Node in Pisces and say, okay, well, you just need to be more permissive. You need to let things go. You need to lower your ideals, but that's not the way either. Because actually what I've noticed in Virgos is that they're too permissive. They allow people to get away with too much because they kind of bring in this self-sacrificial service. Like, no matter what you do, I'm going to be there for you. No matter what you do, I'm going to be there for you. I'm a good person. This is what it means to be a good person. This is how I live up to my ideals. This is how I have that integrity, that I live up to my expectations, is that I continue to be good. I continue to be good. I continue to be good and be of service. The change here that needs to happen, in my opinion, is rather than being of service to a person or a group, Virgos are here to realize and actualize what it means to be of service to the service principle. What it means to be a good servant to serve the service principle. So I want to give you guys an example. Like, let's just use me. I'm a progressed Virgo rising, okay? So we can just say that kind of comes through my life. Virgos are meant to find meaningful work. I think it's difficult for a Virgo to not do work that's meaningful. And in fact, I think that's probably the best way that the service can come through. It can definitely come through in relationships as well, but it's really important, I find, that Virgos have an aspect of their life, generally it's work, that they feel like they're being of service, okay? So for me, the work that I do is a way that I am of service to people, right? I help them uncover these blocks. I use human design, tarot, astrology, all these tools, all this knowledge that I've acquired over a decade, as well as my own personal experience, right? Like, that's what honestly is the most qualified version of myself, is my experience. I've really experienced so much change in my life and walked myself through that. But if I went into every session thinking that I am being of service to the other person, this is where the self-sacrifice comes in that leaves people bitter and resentful. And it's something that I have to tell myself all the time. I'm not helping that person. The person who's sitting in front of me, I'm not helping them. Because number one, that's a little conceited to believe that I'm helping this person. What I'm doing is achieving the highest sense of integrity in the work that I do and surrendering to the process and to the flow, surrendering the expectations of what is going to happen. And this is not easy, right? The Virgo energy wants to go in and it wants to fix. We can't truly fix it. Maybe we can fix machines, but this is not where Virgos get resentful. They're not resentful because they can't fix a machine. They're resentful because they want to fix people and they can't do it. When we're thinking about this Pisces Virgo axis and we're thinking, okay, being of service in tangible ways, being in service to the service principle, and Pisces releasing the expectations, surrendering to whatever the result may be. Because at the end of the day, I show up with high integrity and I have high expectations for how I show up in sessions. I cannot control how the other person takes that. I can't control the transits that are happening that day that's affecting our interaction. I can't control where that person is, whether they're wanting to take actions on the things I ask them to do or that I suggest that they do. Sometimes it's even just them not being able to see what I see and releasing that that's not my job. My job is to show up with the highest level of service to the service principle. Okay? So, let's talk about some ways that this can show up in our lives and how we can see where this is happening. And of course, when we do all signs, we will think about this as well. Okay, so let's go through these. I just have a few things that I wrote down here that I want to talk about, and then we'll go into the gene keys because that's super, super important. So I wrote 3 things that I think this will be great for looking at Mars. As soon as Mars went into Virgo, I was so excited to talk about it because I was like, I just feel like this is information that we need. Because when I think about Mars and Virgo, it is taking small, consistent actions towards the service principle and with humility, because that's just what we're doing. Not because we expect a sort of applause, not because we're expecting this like grand gesture. Mars and Virgo is like, show up every day, do the work consistently. And like I said, we're gonna talk about this more when we talk about the gene keys. Okay, I just get excited. I get excited, guys. So I said, burning out as a wake-up call is one of the themes that I see here. Perfectionism and what it means to purge that. And the third thing, which I'm going to, guide you guys through with the all signs, is embodied action-oriented healing, right? Because Virgo is earth and Mars is action. So just as a quick thing, this transit, when it comes to the burnout as a wake-up call, this is the shadows of over-functioning, of over-perfecting and using productivity to mask insecurity. This is very Virgo type energy, right? Like, oh, if I can just be more of service, if I can just be more of service, if I can just be more, then I'll be worthy. Then it'll finally make me feel like I'm worthy of something. So if you're feeling burnt out, exhausted, and also, in a career that you don't like, not making enough money, like, I'm making a video soon about this. I have so many videos on my roster, you guys, and a lot of them are just like scheduled, ready to go. But I really want to talk about money because I think that money is often misunderstood and our money issues and our career issues. But yeah, if you're feeling burnt out, exhausted, unfulfilled, not wanting to do anything, even though you have to do it, I truly feel like this energy is saying it's not that you're lazy. It's that your body is asking you to do it in a different way, to move differently. The second thing is perfectionism and purging that, right? This is what I talked about. Virgo's karmic shadow patterns are trying to control through details, routines, and being right, doing the right things. Mars can make this worse, or it can sever the ways that we are doing that and keeping ourselves stuck. Because what Pisces, North Node and Pisces wants us to say is it's about presence, not perfection. It's about showing up. It's not about doing it perfectly. Okay, this is what keeps a lot of us stuck. We're in this like Virgo perfectionism of like, well, if I just like learn more about how to do this, then I can do it better. But this is not the power of Virgo. Virgo is here to be of service to the service principle and doing that through a sense of surrender to the results and expectations. Let it be messy. Just do it. Just do the thing. And then the third thing, of course, like I said, embodied action-oriented healing, because this is not a transit of theory. This is a transit of tangible and aligned action. So the universe is the astro weather is asking us to really get into our bodies and do something physical to release, to transmute this energy. Okay, perfect. Now let's talk about the gene key. As soon as I said transmute, this is happening in gate 47, gene key 47. It goes from the shadow of oppression to the gift of transmutation to the city of transfiguration. I recently shared on my post community wall and on my Substack about how, as a 3/5, with 5 being in my design and human design, I carried the shadow side oftentimes of 5s, which is the paranoia. There's like a deep paranoia about how I'm perceived, about how other people see me, and from a young age, having these really intense projections placed on me from people who don't even know me is like the craziest thing, you guys. If I were to tell you guys these stories, you would not believe them. Like, you would not believe them. But growing up, I didn't know that I was getting projected on. So in my mind, when people would see me a certain way, I thought that's who I was. And so it was a very painful process for me growing up. It was like I constantly felt like I could never be myself, and even when I was, nobody could see it. And so I hid. I hid for most of my life. I didn't want to do the things I wanted to do. I didn't feel safe. My body never felt safe. And to this day, showing up on YouTube, showing up knowing that there are people watching me, it's something that I had to prepare my body for, and I continue to work with. I continue to have to literally work with my body to show that it's safe to be perceived incorrectly. So from time to time, I get these trolls or whatever. And then sometimes I'll get a message or a comment. A lot of times it's like unsolicited feedback, right? Which is like really weird to me because I don't do that. So of course I turn inward, and I'm not gonna go super into the details. I feel like I already did, but it's on my community wall. But what I mentioned in that post is that I go inward, and this time and the last several months of this, there's been this thing coming up where I get actually really excited. I get excited that somebody wants to hurt me. And I know that sounds so masochistic, but I can tell you that's not where it's coming from. This is this gene key. The shadow of oppression is that we keep ourselves oppressed. We keep ourselves oppressed by refusing to look at what is actually happening, right? This is very much about the shadow work, okay? We refuse to see what's right under our nose. That is the fear that we are constantly trying to escape and avoid. It is the very thing that leads us to our liberation. It is the very thing. And this is what I do in my sessions, but once again, I can't control this, right? Because sometimes I can see, as a projector, Ra-Uru, who always said, we're not here to work, projectors. We're here to see because we see so deeply. So I have a person in front of me and I can see it. It's like, I literally think of myself as like an MRI, like I'm like, oh, this is what's happening. You think it's this, but there's like, and then you're like, I have this problem, I have this problem, I have this problem. But I'm seeing like 1 or 2 core energetic patterns. I can like literally visualize it. But if you can't see it, then I can't make you see that, right? And it's like the very things that we get really defensive about. And this is just like human nature, right? Like I do this too. My boyfriend's like, hey, you're this way. I'm like, no, I'm not. And then I sit with it and I'm like, shit, he might be right, But so it's very human nature. But this is how we keep ourselves oppressed. This is the shadow of oppression. We keep ourselves constantly in the loop of suffering by refusing to actually look at our suffering. Now, the gift is transmutation. And I talked in my post about how the reason why I've realized that these people who project onto me are giving me raw material to work with, because I work with energy. So I take in good energy and I make something from it, but I also bring in destructive energy. And it's what I've used to create beauty in my life, right? Midheaven and Midheaven and Mercury and Taurus in my chart. So it's like I'm constantly alchemizing the darkness into something beautiful and creating something from the deep emotional angst. And this is the process of transmutation. Transmutation literally means to change one thing into another form. So with that situation, if this person, whoever comments or it tells me bad things or projects onto me something like, whatever this situation may be, if I choose to ignore and just say, screw this person, they're just a troll. Like a lot of people say, there's like, don't read the comments, like it doesn't matter. And I understand where they're coming from to a certain degree. But to me, if I am hurt, if it brings up an old wound, I don't bypass it. I say, okay, I gotta figure out like, what is this bringing up? There's an old memory in my body that this is bringing up. I want to sit with that. So this doesn't keep happening to me, right? And then from that space, I am looking at the fear. My fear is, what if they're right? What if they're right? What if I am this awful person? What if I am doing this? What if I, all of these projections. If I don't look at that, I cannot transmute it. I cannot alchemize it. This is the gift of transmutation, looking at your fear, looking at your suffering. And the way that Mars in Virgo does this, which is what Richard Rudd, actually, I'm just gonna read it for you guys, from Richard Rudd. Because Mars in Virgo is about, like I said, taking small, consistent daily actions. And I always tell this to my clients too. Like everybody's waiting for this massive enlightenment. We do all these psychedelics, we do all this stuff, and I'm not saying don't do them, but we do it thinking that we're going to just have this epiphany and then everything is just going to make sense. And from my experience and from my observations and knowledge, that's not how it happens. True transformation, true transmutation happens with small, consistent actions done over time. For the gift, Richard Rudd says, the only way to transcend suffering is to move more deeply into it, embracing every feeling and event that comes to you. This is the way of deep immersion in the currents of life. It is the way of surrender. Alchemy, the royal art, is the natural destiny of human beings who live their life totally, embracing everything and holding nothing back. It is the art of living dangerously. This does not mean that you necessarily take outer risks. The danger is to the illusion that there is anything fixed about you. To be in the process of transmutation is to be truly alive. When negative situations happen, when something is blocked, when we are like, I just keep running into this, I hate my job, I hate this. When we see that obstacle as the path and we embrace the events that come to us, we embrace the trolls, we embrace the projections, we embrace the things that don't go our way, this is how we transmute all of it. When you truly believe that everything is happening for you, when you are hurt, when something negative happens to you, how much can you go into it? How much can you look at it and not allow it to oppress you by keeping you in those fear patterns? This Mars South Node conjunction in gate 47 is asking us to stop avoiding, because this is a shadow of Pisces, right? Shadow of Pisces is there's a very natural avoidance pattern. Neptune does not want you to look at the thing. It does not want that precision that Virgo brings. So once again, how can we bring the best qualities of Virgo? Precision. Look at the thing. Do not avoid. Do not do what Pisces wants to do and run into the imagination. Or I just imagine like someone just like running through a field, It's like, this is my 12th house placement. They're just like, I just want to like be here. I want to be alive, And Virgo was like, yeah, but sometimes we got to like look at the thing. But I think I'm going to end it here. And we're going to go into the all signs. So we're going to just do a little bit about each sign and some things that I found that might be helpful for you guys. If you guys want to do this work with me, per usual, I always have my link in the description. I will be coming out with some workshops soon. So if you're interested in that, follow my Substack or subscribe to my Substack, because that's the best way to get informed about workshops and any other things that I've got going on. And without further ado, let's get into the all signs. For my Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising, this Mars South Node conjunction in Virgo is happening in your guys' 6th house. The 6th house is about your health, daily habits, daily routines, daily responsibilities. It's your work and work environment as well. It's also a house of conflict, so how you handle conflict or unequal partnerships. I've got a couple of routines or rituals for you guys. And as I mentioned in the beginning, I kind of wanted this to be really about taking embodied action. So doing something physically, because Mars in Virgo, yeah. And then the cleansing aspect of it and the releasing with the South Node. So I thought about maybe you guys going through your pantry, your supplements, your medicine cabinet, and removing expired products or products and foods, etc., that you don't want to put in your body. The sixth house is very much like taking care of your body in a very mindful way. So how are you doing that? And how can you actually audit that in real time? So I thought doing like cleaning out your pantry or your supplements would be a really good way. Your fridge as well. Like what is toxic to you, or what is expired, what no longer feels good, and what do you not want to put in your body anymore? Then the other thing that I thought would be really helpful too was to clean out or audit your daily routines. So what this looks like for me is a lot of times we go through our days and we don't really know what we're doing with our time, and then the day ends or the week ends and we're not really sure what happened. I want you to choose at least one day in the next week where you audit everything that you're doing. Meaning you wake up in the morning, you make some coffee, you go sit on your front porch, you sit down and scroll. I want you to keep a journal next to you, and I just want you to write, made coffee, 15 minutes, sat on my porch for 20 minutes, scrolled my phone for an hour, whatever. And then I want you to just go through and really just look at, right? This is that Virgo precision that we're looking at, we're not avoiding. We're looking at, what am I doing day to day? Is that aligning with my values, with what I want to do? Is this aligning with my health goals? Is this aligning with the habits, the kind of life that I want to have? Because this is where our day-to-day routines add up to something bigger, right? So let's see if there's a tarot card, if there's anything else that we want to say for you guys. The moon. Yeah, this is interesting because this is like actually a Neptunian card. And so this makes me feel like, number one, maybe for some of you guys, your day-to-day is missing that intuitive element. So maybe it's overly structured, or you're not paying attention to what you're doing and you're just doing things because you're told you have to do them. Like you wake up, you do the cold shower because they tell you, but it's like, do you actually want to do it? Like it seems like there's maybe too much structure. Or on the other hand, you might do this audit your daily routines, and you might find that your day-to-day is actually quite fluid and there's no structure. Right? Because with Saturn and Neptune in your guys' sign, you're really dissolving old structures of yourself, of your being, and redefining that, restructuring that. So I wonder if there is a level of avoidance or too much flow in your day-to-day. So there's something about too much flow, not enough flow. It really depends because, I don't know who I'm speaking to right now. It's collective reading. And yeah, this is just something for you to think about. And think about what drains you throughout your day and what actually nourishes you during your day. And make a note of that, write that down, okay? And if you guys want to go deeper in this work, of course, you can book a session with me. I'll have the link in the description box below. Follow my Substack to keep in touch. I'll see you guys next time. Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising. You guys have this Mars South Node conjunction happening in your 5th house. Your 5th house is about creativity, pleasure, romance, joy, children, inner child. So I came up with a couple of physical rituals that you can do with this Mars Virgo energy and the South Node, of course, and that I think would be really helpful for you during this time. I talked about this a lot more in the first part of the video, so make sure you listen to that. But I wrote down maybe doing a cleanse of creative spaces. So maybe there are old creative projects that no longer light you up. Can we get rid of them? So it's almost like we're getting rid of the old so we can invite space for the new, right? So maybe there are old projects, maybe there's an art room that you have that has been cluttered or that is filled with old memories that are keeping the energy stagnant and not allowing you to have that creative thought coming through. The other thing I thought of, I kind of leaned into like the love and romance, and I was thinking about if you have like any old love letters or like mementos or emails or texts or pictures from past relationships that are dimming your light now. And maybe we can think about clearing those things out, cleaning them out to bring in fresh energy, allow the fresh energy to come. And then of course with Pisces North Node, having that sense of surrender to what is going to come in next. But right now we're looking at with precision, what is it about my creativity, this creative space or my creative life that is outdated? What do I need to let go of? And then same thing with your love and romance as well. Okay, so let's see if the tarot has anything to say on top of that. If there's another little message that we can get. The Hermit. And this is Virgo's card. Yeah, I think that this time for you guys, it's funny because the 5th house is like creativity, pleasure, joy, romance, but the Hermit is very much inward. It's not a time to be out there having fun and doing all these things. It's really a time to look inside. And also, if you need to, get a mentor, you know, like have somebody guide you in this process. But whenever I see the Hermit, I think about how he's holding the lantern. And it's like his own inner light that he's looking at. So if we focus, because the 5th house is self-expression, and it's a house of the self as well. So if we think about this as being a time where you're deeply attuning to the self through releasing those old mementos, those old love letters, those old creative projects that no longer align with you, as a reclamation of the self, as a devotion to the self and the inward journey. So yeah, Taurus, let me know if that resonates for you guys. If you want to work with me one-on-one, I'll have the link in the description down below. I'll see you guys next time. Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising. This Mars South Node conjunction is happening in your 4th house. So the 4th house is your emotional foundations, it's your family, it's your home, your physical home, your inner home as well, your deepest emotional core. So I had a couple of things that came up for you guys. I felt like, you know, as this ritual that I want to give you guys, that is the actual physical ritual, the number one thing, you guys made this easy, being in your 4th house, declutter your home. But I want to be very specific. I don't want you to just like declutter your home, okay? That's too much for Gemini. And we're going to start decluttering one space and then go to the next space. Like, listen, I know how it works. This is more like, I want you to pick a room. I want you to pick one room. And I personally feel like maybe the space that you spend the most time in. So if that's your bedroom, if that's your office, Gemini Sun here, I'm going to be doing this with my office, okay? Because I spend a lot of time in here. And yeah, pick one room, declutter. Even if that's too much for you, if that feels too overwhelming, pick your dresser, your drawers, like something like that, okay? The other thing is, because this has to also do with family, I was thinking about like cleaning out photos or items that carry ancestral energy that you're no longer wanting to have a connection to. And kind of getting rid of those things. So even like photos of people, maybe there's photos of people in your home that you don't want to have that connection. It doesn't mean like throwing away the person in your life, but maybe as a symbol, even just putting it away, putting it in a box and putting it somewhere else where it's not in your visible space all the time. Because we want to allow new energy to come in there. So how can you allow that new energy to come into your life? And for you guys, it's like family stuff, ancestral patterns, especially because the 4th house is generally the mom. So like something to do with the maternal side or something. Okay, let's see if the tarot has anything else to say about that. Yeah, see, this card, the 8 of Pentacles, is like really Mars and Virgo energy to me. Just keep diligently working at this. Like, keep diligently working. So maybe give yourself like a week and commit yourself to every day. I'm going to spend 30 minutes going through old family heirlooms or mementos or photos, or I'm going to focus on one dresser in my room. And then the next day I'm going to focus on this in my room. Okay. Decluttering the home, and also anything in your house that you're surrounded by that is taking up emotional space that's from the past, that is holding you down. Okay. And to just do it diligently. I feel like for you guys, it's like if you do too much at once, it's going to be overwhelming. So just give yourself like a few days or a week and commit to like 30 minutes at a time, something like that. Okay, Geminis, let me know how this resonates. If you want to do this work one-on-one with me, I'll have my description or my link in the description down below. I'll see you guys next time. Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising. You guys have this Mars South Node conjunction happening in your third house. The third house is your immediate environment. It's your siblings, neighbors, cousins. It is your immediate surroundings, your mindset, communication, writing, your thoughts as well. So I was thinking that one of the rituals that I want to offer you guys, and through what you're releasing, right? Because we talked about this in the beginning of this video, we're releasing something regarding those things. We're cutting things out. And then we're taking action towards cutting it out. Physical action, because it's Virgo. And so for you guys, I was thinking like cleaning your car, right? Because this is what we use to commute. The essence of what we're trying to do is to physically clear out a space that will allow new energy to come into our lives. So clean out your car if your car's a mess. But even if it's not, I want to invite you to engage with your immediate surroundings in a different way. Maybe you always take a certain way to work. I want you to try a different way. Maybe you take a walk every day, and I want you to go in a different way. Maybe try a different route. Maybe you don't take a walk. Maybe you start taking a walk every day for 10 minutes. That for a week. That's all I'm asking. Bring fresh energy into your day-to-day. Bring fresh energy into your day-to-day. The other thing I was thinking too is like if you have books, if you have a lot of emails, if you have a ton of texts, if you have your computer is filled with tons of random stuff, clearing out those things. If you have notes, if you have, old and stagnant energy that is in the realm of writing, learning. So like I said, books, donating old books, donating journals, or not donating journals, getting rid of journals that are tied to the past, notes that are tied to the past. Maybe you have letters that are tied to the past. Things like that, I was thinking, okay? Let's see if the tarot has anything else to bring up for you guys. And of course, get creative here, right? If there's anything else that you guys are thinking, maybe old ways of relating to siblings, neighbors, cousins as well, and your communication style. Yeah, so this is swords, right? Two of Swords. The Two of Swords tells me that this is a time for you to gain some mental clarity. And the way that we gain mental clarity during this time is by releasing old mental patterns, right? So what I was telling you guys are ways that we can do that, because let's say you take a certain way to work every day and you go a different way. This is literally rewiring your brain in the moment, right? It's like keeping things fresh, not allowing stagnant, outdated patterns, unconscious patterns that, to keep continuing. And the Two of Swords often comes up when we are like in a place where we don't know what to do. It's kind of like a mental stalemate. But this card also can bring a lot of clarity if we go inward. And in this scenario, I think that it's about clearing things out, like I mentioned. Okay. So Cancers, let me know how this resonates for you guys. If you'd like to do some of this kind of work one-on-one, I'll have my link in the description down below. I'll see you guys next time. Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Mars and the South Node are conjuncting in your second house. Your second house is about self-worth, its values, your possessions, your income, money. The very clear thing that I see is releasing old attitudes around money. So one of the rituals that I thought would be really cool for you guys specifically is doing a bank account audit, bank account ritual. So going through your bank account, seeing what's actually coming in and out of my bank account. Do I still need this thing that's coming out? Like, what's going on with this? Reframing your spending habits as well. So, maybe thinking like, oh, I, get a coffee every day because I deserve it, because I do such hard work. This is something that these mental shifts are really interesting to notice. Looking at your spending and seeing what are my thoughts around this and how do I need to reframe them? Because maybe you have past patterns with money that are not helping you right now. So obviously this is a general reading, so I can't really say what it is your issue is. But I can say that maybe there's a reframe that needs to happen around how you spend your money. And of course, if you want to do this work more specifically to you, I do offer one-on-one sessions, and that's the kind of work that I do, right? The other thing that I was thinking would be really cool for Leos, especially Leo risings, but really Leos, you know, we tend to collect clothes and makeup. It depends if you wear makeup. It's like either clothes or makeup. I want you to go through clothes or makeup, whatever, your closet, your vanity, if you have one. Donate whatever does not feel aligned to you. We're clearing out space, and we're clearing out, when it comes to Leos, I really feel like a lot of times, especially Leo risings, the clothes that we wear become very significant indicators of what we want to express to other people, what we want other people to think about us. So by releasing old clothes that no longer fit who we feel like we are, we can we're refining how we want other people to see us. And in this period of time, it's more about refining through releasing and then waiting for something new to come, okay? So let's see if the tarot has anything else that we are missing here. The Star. Okay, so yeah, I'm really feeling like Leos are needing a sense of hope right now. A sense that things are going to change and they're going to get better. There's a sense, maybe this is around self-worth, maybe this is around money, maybe this is around your sense of self-worth, right? The second house is really about values and self-worth to me. The money is just a tangible way to show that. So there's a sense that, like, if you continue to do this work, right, Mars and Virgo, take consistent daily actions, there is a hope on the other side. There's a faith on the other side that things can get better, things can change. And the tarot is really wanting you to see that through this release right now, you are setting yourself up for success. So Leos, let me know how this resonates for you guys in the comments down below. Please like and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. This Mars South Node conjunction is happening in your first house. Your first house is your body, your identity, your attitude to the world, how you perceive everything around you. Yeah, so especially if you're a Virgo rising, a ritual that would be really cool for you guys that I was thinking about, because I talked about in the beginning part of this video how I want to make like physical rituals. I feel like that's what the energy is asking us to do right now. Virgo rising especially, but you can do this for any Virgo placements. Clean your body. Take a salt bath. Dry brush, get a massage, or massage yourself even, you know, like get some oil, massage areas that feel tight, you know, like really take care of your body in some way. Move your body in nourishing ways, right? But because there's a release happening here, I think something like a salt bath, like super cleansing energy, like something even like take a day where you're just taking care of yourself. Do your hair oils, you know, like dry brush, massage yourself, take the salt bath, do a skincare ritual. Maybe you do like a mask or something that you know you've been needing to do. Your skin's feeling dry, but you haven't done it. Something like that. The other thing, and it's similar to Leos because I mentioned this to them, but because this is how you show up physically in the world, especially as a Leo, as a Virgo rising, releasing accessories, clothes, how you express yourself that don't feel aligned with what you're trying to convey to other people during this time. This would be another way that you can work with this energy. Now, if you have like a Virgo moon or a Virgo sun, it might feel different, but it's still going to help the energies, because what we're trying to do right now is when the South Node is in your sign and Mars is in your sign, there's a real impetus to no longer align with old identities. So how do we bring that into form? How do we showcase that to ourselves that we are not the same person that we once were? We are shedding layers and layers. So how do we ritualize that shedding? How do we bring that into a physical way? That's the kind of energy that I want you to take right now. Let's see if the tarot has anything else for you guys. Ooh. 10 of Pentacles. when I see the Ten of Pentacles, it makes me feel like your idea of abundance and success needs to change. So I wonder if this release that you're doing is teaching you that abundance is not money, legacy, career, that type of thing. Because when I see the Ten of Pentacles, I'll just be honest with you guys, like I feel like the Ten of Pentacles is when we have achieved a pinnacle of success in some way. And I'm not saying that has to happen right now, but maybe at some point in your life, you had the money, you had the car, you had the house, and then it was just felt empty. Like there was nothing behind, there's no soul behind it. And this is asking you to see that through shedding these layers, these outdated ideas of like what success means to you, you're forging a new identity that is showing you true abundance. And a lot of that is through taking care of your physical body in a new way. Maybe this is, a lot of times when the South Node goes through the first house, or through our sign, we lose weight, right? Because is being asked to release. So maybe your new sense of abundance is like health, like maybe this is actually the best form of abundance, is to feel healthy, to feel good. And I can tell you guys, as somebody who has, spent 15 years of my life with autoimmune disorders and daily chronic excruciating pain and fatigue and all these other issues, that health really is the best success. There is nothing worth it. There is nothing. That's to this day. If a mentor tells me like, hey, you need to work like this, and it feels unaligned with my body, no, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Your health is the most important thing. Okay, so Virgos, let me know how this resonates. If you guys want to work with me one-on-one, I'll have the link in the description below. I'll see you guys next time. Libra, Sun, Moon, and Rising. You guys have this Virgo conjunction, what am I saying? Mars, South Node in Virgo conjunction in your 12th house. South Node is about releasing karmic patterns. The 12th house is about liberating yourself from subconscious and karmic patterns. So deep stuff happening here, you guys. Like this is for you specifically, real hardcore shadow work right now. Okay, if you're a Libra person, come see me. Let's do this work, but the thing is, when I tell people that, when this kind of stuff is happening, like I talked about this in the first part of the video about the transmutation, this is the type of energy where you really actually need to listen to other people who you trust when they tell you that they're seeing something that you're doing that you don't see, because the 12th house is where you don't see. So if somebody you trust is telling you, hey, I really think this is an issue, and you're like, no, it's not, just sit with it. Okay, it's gonna feel very uncomfortable, but I just wanted to say that for you guys. Okay, so the 12th house is about spirituality, about meditation, releasing old karmic patterns, solitude. This is a space of dreams as well, grief, endings, loss. So much happens in the 12th house. Overseas travel too, is I guess. Surrender. This is the house opposite of the conjunction, which is Virgo. It's the house opposite of that. It's Pisces. It's letting go. It's not being, it's almost like you're being asked to look with precision at the subconscious limiting patterns that you have. Okay. So a couple of rituals that I thought about when I thought about this is clear or cleanse your sleeping space. Wash your bed linens, bring in calming scents, because the 12th house is the house of dreams. So this is where we get messages, oftentimes in meditation and solitude, in our dreams. This is where we get archetypal messages rather than like, this is what's happening, So this is why another reason why it's really good to do like astrology and stuff, because those are archetypal messages to your subconscious rather than being like, hey, you're doing this thing, we can talk about it from astrology, human design, tarot, whatever. Yeah, so clear your sleeping space, just clean it. Literally, physically clean where you sleep. And bring in some, like I said, calming scents, or, if you sleep with your phone, maybe put it someplace else. If the room that you sleep in is super messy, maybe cleaning that up. And the other thing is the 12th house, there's a lot of like guilt and shame here. So I am trying not to do like journal prompts for a lot of people, because although journal prompts are totally aligned action and I love doing them, sometimes I just wanted to get creative, to be honest with you guys, to do something different other than journal prompts. But for you guys, I would say either like writing a letter about all the things that bring you shame and guilt and then burning it. Or you know, tearing it up and throwing it away. I feel like you need to let your subconscious speak. So like stream of consciousness writing and then throwing it away. And kind of releasing it subconsciously in that way, okay? Let me see if the tarot has anything else for you guys. Five of Pentacles. Yeah, the Five of Pentacles tells me that there's a feeling here that you are in this alone, that the work is never ending, that you cannot be supported, that it's like, yeah, it feels quite heavy. It feels quite heavy for my Libras. Especially if you got this Libra rising, it feels like, yeah, you're maybe always supporting other people. You're not getting the support that you need yourself. There's an old message around that. There's an old habit. There's an old pattern around that. Like maybe that's how you've kept yourself safe, is by believing that nobody is there to help you. But what I always say with the Five of Pentacles is that they're outside the church, but if they were to look inside the church through the window, they would see that there's help inside. And I'm not saying go to a church, you know, but I'm just saying that the archetypally, you're not seeing how other people can help you possibly. That's what I was saying. Remember in the beginning, I was like, if there's somebody that you trust who is telling you, hey, you're the problem, that's probably how it's going to come across to you. And you're going to be like, what the hell? Like you always, you know, it's always my fault or whatever. How do we alchemize that and make it into something beautiful? Okay, Libras, listen to the first part of the video if you haven't, okay? Anyway, let me know how this resonates. If you want to work with me, like I said, link in the description down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Rising. You guys have this Mars South Node conjunction in Virgo happening in your 11th house. Your 11th house is technology, groups, online communities, friends, humanitarian efforts. It's your hopes and wishes for the future as well. So I see this coming across a lot of ways where you're cleaning out and getting rid of old visions and hopes for the future in order for new ones to come in. But the essence is on releasing. So it's not about focusing on like what is coming in, but rather what am I releasing, okay, in that area. But it also is like friends, groups, online communities, right? So when I was thinking about physical rituals that you can do, Mars embodied action, Virgo, I was thinking like a social media audit. You know, maybe we're getting so cluttered and they take up so much energy in our lives. Maybe you go through and mute people and accounts that drain you, especially ones that promote comparison because of that shadow of perfectionism in Virgo. Like, what are you intaking? Maybe this is, so you have to maybe unfollow people online or mute them or, you know, really curate what messages you're getting online that are bringing up all of those things that I talked about in the first part of the video about Virgo, like the negative things that can be coming up that make you feel like you're not good enough. And maybe this means like even having to get rid of or possibly pause some friendships or some groups that you're a part of if they're making you feel that way, okay? The other thing I thought about is kind of the same thing. It's like release obligations to, I know it sounds weird, but release obligations to respond to people. So maybe there are like DMs or emails that you have or text messages, group chats that you're in. Maybe they're just taking up a ton of space for you and you just need to release that. Yeah, like if there are any obligations to groups, to other people, just get rid of it. Just get rid of it. And see and notice what that feels like in your body when you do it, okay? So let me see if the tarot has anything else for you guys right now. Ace of Pentacles. Interesting. So when I see the Ace of Pentacles, there's something about a job, okay? It's almost like what I'm seeing, you guys, because the 11th house is people that support you. It's your benefactors. It's almost like you're energetically getting cluttered with people who may be present in your life but are not actually supporting you, and that is not allowing financial opportunities to come to you. Clean up your support, your networking list. If you're like on LinkedIn and you're, you know, like that's the energy I'm getting, is that you're clogged up energetically with being like obligating yourself to be present in spaces, in groups, communities, technological, like social media places that are not bringing you the opportunities that you want, and thereby you're blocking the opportunities that are trying to come to you. So Scorpios, let me know how this resonates for you guys. What is this, how is this showing up in your life? I'd love to hear. And if you want to do this work more personally, because of course it's a collective reading, link is in the description down below to work with me one-on-one. I'll see you guys next time. Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising. You guys have this Mars South Node conjunction happening in Virgo in your 10th house. Your 10th house is about career, your visibility, long-term legacy, your achievements, authority as well, your reputation. So when I was thinking about, you know, we're releasing old things here, right? We're releasing outdated patterns we have around those themes. What does success mean to you? What does legacy mean to you? What does it actually mean? Like truly getting down to what it is that you've been conditioned to believe versus what it is that you've actually been made to believe. For you guys, I was thinking, you know, decluttering. This is what Mars Virgo energy is, like getting rid of shit, you know, like getting rid of stuff. So I was thinking, if you have like a website, if you have a LinkedIn, going through and like really curating it to resonate with what you are wanting to attract. And the other thing that I thought about was that letting go of a career related habit or belief that's no longer true for who you're becoming. So I want you guys to think really practically here, right? Because this is Mars in Virgo after all. I don't want you to just be like, oh, there's just one thing. What are you doing day to day when it comes to what you believe you need to do for your career? What you need to do, like maybe it's you're overworking yourself. Maybe it's you're waking up earlier or clocking in earlier than you have to because you believe that your productivity is going to give you value and bring you to a certain place in your career, and that'll make you feel successful. Is that true for you? Listen to the first part of the video if you haven't already, where I talked about like the pitfalls of Virgo and how this is coming up with Mars and South Node here, of like how this for you, it's very career related. There are self-sabotaging habits that you have in career, and I think a lot of it has to do with beliefs and current daily habits around those beliefs that come from the root of those beliefs regarding career success, legacy, long-term goals. And then yeah, like if you have whatever way, like resume, look at your resume. Did you put things in there in a way because like, you know, AI told you to do it, or like a resume person told you to do it, or is it conducive to like what you, and is it a representation of you actually and how you want other people to see you? So your website, curate your social media, your LinkedIn, especially if you obviously have like online job, like whatever, but business, whatever it relates to your career. Okay, let me see if the tarot has anything else for you guys. If you want to do this work one-on-one with me so I can get more specific, obviously, because I'm doing a very general reading here, yeah, let me know. I'll have the link in the description. That's how you can let me know. Let's see if the tarot has anything else for you guys. This is saying no, okay? Sometimes when the Four of Cups comes up, we're feeling very reflective, and so we're in this space, and once again, this is collective, we're in this space where we're wanting to say no to a lot of things, and if you're not, that may be what's being asked of you. On the flip side of that though, like I said, this is general. On the flip side, some of you guys are so deeply reflective right now that you're not seeing the opportunities that are trying to come to you. So some of you guys may have to look up and start seeing what is coming to you. Some of you guys are looking out there too much and not reflecting enough about what it is that you want, what it is, how you want to come across, what brings you joy, what brings you pleasure in your career. and not what other people want you to do. So you have to kind of figure that out on your own, you know? And like I said, I can help you guys with that, obviously, but let me know how that resonates, and make sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising. This Mars South Node conjunction is happening in your 9th house. The 9th house is beliefs, higher education, philosophy, where you find meaning and purpose and truth in your life, of course. Your worldview, this is long distance travel as well, law, mentorship. There's a lot that happens in this house. So when I was thinking about you guys and what I felt like would be a physical cleansing ritual that would be really cool, like very practical, right? Like Virgo is very practical. It's not like, let's do this like very intricate, you know, like it's like, what do we need to do? Like, what's the steps? Okay, just tell me the steps. So one thing I thought about was cleaning out, it's kind of similar, you guys, to Cancers, because the 3rd, 9th house. Cleaning out your bookshelves. Like, are there books that are of certain belief systems that are no longer aligned? Like, this is how I could see it. Let's say that you grew up like Catholic, okay? And now you're in a space where you don't align with Catholicism anymore, but you have all these books and that's what you grew up as. Because I feel like for you guys, these beliefs that I'm about to talk about are for a lot of you guys, as a general reading, are ingrained in familial patterns, ancestral patterns, like things from the home, possibly even the mother. So if you're that example, like if you have books on Catholicism, if you have a Bible, I don't know, like that does not align with your current values anymore. Let's say now you're a Buddhist, but you're keeping it out of obligation, like you feel like you have to, and you'd be like, you know, hurting your family or your ancestry if you kept on to it. This is how we keep ourselves chained to other people's beliefs. And then we wonder why our lives are not ours. Why would they're not, you know, they're not the representation of our values, because we're not living it based off of our beliefs. So this is what you're trying to do. So go through your bookcase. You know, are there old books that you can donate? You don't have to burn them, you know, just give them away to someone who wants them, who aligns with them, okay? I also thought about like journals that you may have that may have like outdated beliefs, or the 9th house is higher education. So maybe there are like courses that you've taken or that you've bought, but then you don't want to do them, and then they're just sitting there. Because okay, this is my whole energy with Mars South Node, is that we're trying to cleanse and get rid of things physically to clear up space energetically. So clearing things out that represent outdated spiritual or cultural beliefs. So maybe it's not a book. Maybe it's like your house is filled with the cross. Okay, like once again, I'm not like bashing Christianity here. It's easy for me to think of that. Or maybe you have Buddhist statues, but you're no longer aligned with that. Like do an audit of your spiritual or cultural references or influences in your life that do not fit, to allow energy for new stuff to come. And like I said, for a lot of you guys, I feel like this is outdated beliefs that came from family, that came from early childhood conditioning. So that's just one way to frame it, okay? And the other thing I was thinking, and I'm trying not to do journal prompts for people, because I feel like, you know, journal prompts are always amazing, but I want to do something just a little bit different for this video. But for you guys, it might be even writing down some of your cultural or spiritual beliefs as well, and then like auditing them. Like, is this mine? Is this somebody else's? You know, that's always very helpful too. Okay, let's see if the tarot has anything else for you guys. Rest, contemplation, stillness. This to me says that you're at this place right now in your life where there is kind of a standstill in something. Like, yeah, it feels like you're not meant to be taking, like maybe for some of you guys, you're like, I want to like do this thing. I want to do this thing. But the energy is asking you to actually just sit still and release, and then trust that something is coming, right? That's a North Node in Pisces I was talking about at the beginning of this video. Trust that something is coming, but it's not going to come from you going after it. It's going to come from you resting staying in contemplation and releasing. Okay, this is like kind of hard, I think, for Capricorns because of that mountain goat. It's like, just keep chugging, just keep chugging, just keep chugging. That's not what the energy is asking right now, okay? So if you guys want to do this work one-on-one, where I can get obviously more personal and make it more individualized for you, I'll have the link in the description down below. Otherwise, please like and subscribe and let me know how this resonates. I'll see you guys next time. Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising. We have this Mars South Node conjunction in Virgo happening in your guys' 8th house. The 8th house is a very intimate space. It's shared intimacy, vulnerability, psychological healing, shared resources, other people's money, our values, not just your values, but collective values. This is a house of transformation, of the occult, of addictions as well, emotional addictions, especially as it comes to like relationships, relating to other people. How do you relate to other people in a very deep way? So, excuse me, when I was thinking about some Mars in Virgo like rituals to do for releasing because of the South Node, oh, excuse me. I was thinking about like, okay, if you have any joint resources, so sharing with a business partner, with a intimate partner, with whoever, if you have, you share, you and your parents went in on a house together or went on a car together, doing an audit of that. Even if you don't have any of that though, maybe it's your investments, right? Because the 8th house is money that's not just yours. So investments can fall here too. Going through them and really making sure that everything is aligned with where it's supposed to be and everybody's on the same page with it and everything feels good. Okay, because this is what we're ultimately trying to do is get rid of energy that's no longer aligned. So if there are something that's coming out of the joint finances, that is, because we're trying to make space for the new to come. We don't know exactly what the new is, right? Pisces, North Node, it's surrendering to whatever that is. But we want to energetically clear out. But with Mars and Virgo, we're going to have to physically clear out. So joint spaces, even, I just like thought of that right now too. So like bedrooms, places of intimacy where there's a lot of like intimacy happening. Cleaning that out, or cleaning out, going through joint accounts. I could see this, like going through joint accounts and saying like, where's our money going? Where are we spending it? And really, if there's like subscriptions that you're doing that you guys, do we really need this? Like, it's really an audit of your finances. And then the other thing is that the 8th house is Scorpionic and it's very deep. And if there has been any sense of betrayal in some way or any sort of entanglement emotionally that is lingering in your energetic space, how can we bring that into form and then burn it? Like, then destroy it, because this is the house of destruction, right? Scorpio, even though we call it transformation, death, and rebirth, it's emphasis on the death. So emphasis on the destruction. Where are you holding on to emotional entanglements? Maybe for some of you guys, this would be like a cord cutting ceremony. But for others of you, it could be like burning old pictures of people who have betrayed you, burning letters. And if you don't have those things, you don't have a physical, tangible thing that represents whatever hurt you, make it. So drawing a picture of the person or journaling and then burning it. It's something about destroy it. Cut it up, destroy it. Yeah, destroy it. Sorry, my Pluto on the 4th, on my IC just came out there. Okay, let me see if there's anything else from the tarot. Oh, this just came flying out. The 9 of Pentacles for you guys. This makes me feel like there is a reclamation of the self and taking care of the self within joint endeavors. Meaning, like, for some of you guys, because I talked about this in the beginning part of the video, how I think there's a lot of like old subconscious patterns that we're releasing. And these rituals are just like a manifestation of that, like a physical manifestation of that. I feel like there's a reclamation happening with you learning to take care of yourself better when it comes to deep emotional bonds and releasing past betrayals to step into a new way of intimate bonding. And maybe this is coming through in shared resources too, but to me, this house is always a water house, and the money aspect of it is just a representation of that, okay? Because who we share finances with, it's very intimate, right? Like we're sharing a lot of values, we're trusting that person. So the core of it is very emotional, in my opinion. So how are you redoing emotional bonds? How are you redoing that? And to me, it's like this is a card of abundance and self-care. So how are you taking care of yourself better in those emotional bonds rather than the other person, which is like the Virgo aspect, which I said in the beginning, it's like self-sacrificial, right? Too much self-sacrifice. Okay, so Aquarius, let me know how this resonates for you guys. If you want to do this work one-on-one with me, I'll have the link in the description down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Rising. You guys have this Mars South Node conjunction happening in your 7th house. Your 7th house is relationships, your interpersonal skills. It is also contracts as well. So like wedding contracts, marriage contracts, business contracts, all that stuff. I was thinking about something else. I have 2 rituals, Mars and Virgo like rituals that I want to share with you guys. But before I do that, what I was thinking about is the fact that a lot of times when things happen in our 7th house, there could be happening to someone important to us in our life and not directly to us, and we're witnessing it. So I wanted to make that very clear, because I talked about in the first part of the video that like there's this like release happening. So maybe for some of you guys, like this is happening with your partner, right? Like you're seeing and mirroring back somebody who is going through a Mars and South Node, releasing what no longer aligns with them, releasing and letting go of outdated patterns and stepping into a new identity. I can see this for some Pisces people, like being in a relationship with someone who's undergoing massive changes. And, you know, there's that quote that's like, to love somebody is to love, like, what is it? I always screw up quotes. To love the hundreds of identities that they have, that they go through, right? Like we don't love the same person. The people we love change. And our goal is to learn how to love that person if it's aligned still, you know? And so this may be kind of presenting for some of you guys as that somebody you love is going through a lot of changes and you're having to learn how to kind of deal with that, right? Okay, 2 rituals I thought of. Clean any place that you share with another person to reset relational energy. So if you don't live with somebody, it could be like cleaning your living room, your kitchen, where you often have other people there, where there's a sharing, there's a relational thing happening there. So anything that you share with another person, maybe you are renting and you guys share a bathroom, going through and decluttering that. The whole idea of what I'm offering right now with these rituals is to cleanse physically in order to allow new energy to enter the space in a way that's being supported by the astrology, okay? The second thing I thought of was getting rid of or donating objects from old relationships. So this could be gifts that they've given you. This could be pictures. Maybe there's like a divorce contract that you're holding on to, a marriage license from a divorce that you're holding on to, like something around relationships, photos from old, and it doesn't have to be, it can be platonic, like you and an old friend that no longer talk. Getting rid of those things, not as a way to be like, screw you, you know, but as a way of getting rid of old energy so that we can trust with this North Node in your sign that something new is coming. Something fresh is coming, and surrendering to not knowing what exactly that is, okay? Let's see if the tarot has anything for you guys. And I feel like there's a lot of subconscious patterns around relationships for you guys. And I want you to get really curious about how other people are acting towards you right now. Instead of trying to make them the problem, get really curious about what that's mirroring to you. Like, for example, if you're noticing people in your life are changing rapidly, like I mentioned, maybe that's signaling to you that you're not changing enough. I don't know. If you guys want to do this work one-on-one so I can like tell you who you're, because obviously this is collective, I have my link in the description below so we can work together and look at your chart specifically. But let's see if the tarot has anything for you guys collectively. Ah, wow. Transformation, death. See, this is what I'm saying. I feel like, honestly, you guys, I feel like the transformation, even though it's happening in your 7th house, it's it is trying to mirror it back to you that it's time for a change. It's time for a massive change for you. So if you're getting upset or like like I said, get really curious about other people in your life right now. They are just a mirror to something that you are not seeing that is asking to be transformed. And once again, this is also mirroring, like, in order to allow space for the new to come in, for that transformation, for the creation, we need to destroy. Okay, we need to get rid of stuff. Pisces, let me know how this resonates for you guys. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.